arts background in economics and finance from Ashoka University. Uh, I think one key moment or aspect of my, at least academic journey that has shaped my experiences at ISB also is being a teaching assistant and a student in philosophy while at Ashoka University. So there, when I was studying and teaching beyond my curriculum, I realized just how big the world is and how there are some core first principles of thinking that are replicable across domains and across disciplines. Uh, that key learning or insight is what eventually led me to have an open mind towards pursuing an MBA as well. Uh, After working for a year before ISB, I came here and here I did my summer internship at Motilal Oswal Group in their central strategy team.
Thank you, Aditi. May I now request Manas if you can please share introduction about yourself?
Sure, Baljeet, thank you. Hello everyone. I'm Manas, and I've done my bachelor's in business administration from NMMS. I'm a finance major, and post my graduation, I worked at Press Vista Financial Services as an investment analyst. And even in my internship, I worked at an investment bank. So more or less, my knowledge and my experience has been centered around finance, and that has helped me to basically contribute to the class, whether while talking about investments or talking about markets as such. But I think something that this class has helped me as a whole is diversify my perspective away from just the finance domain as a whole. And yeah, that has really helped broaden my horizon, I would say. And I would really love to interact with you and basically clarify any doubts if you have. Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Manas. Manas, just stay back. I have next question also for you.
Yeah.
What motivated you to pursue an MBA at this stage?
So, something that really motivated me to pursue MBA was going beyond technical skills. So, like, technical skills is something that we can absorb maybe through our own experience or maybe through whatever we've learned in our undergrad. But to translate it into something that can take us to the next level, that is to basically think about different stakeholders, you need to go beyond those technical skills, and that is something which an MBA offers. Like you interact with different people, you go through different subjects, different modules, and this is something which cannot be offered by just going through a book or maybe interacting with some people. You need a specialized cohort to go a specialized cohort to interact with, and I think this is something which ISB did offer, and this was one of the major points did that attracted me towards ISB, I would say.
Okay, okay. Sagar, would you like to add something to it? What Manas said.
Yeah, so similar for me as well. Decision to do an MBA was primarily driven by two paths. One, why I wanted to do an MBA was simply because I genuinely think that at that point in time in my career, I required a lot of skills, a lot of networks, a lot of connections to help me grow as a person. And the second part was why ISB for me particularly, because I've always loved the unorthodox curriculum or the unorthodoxy that ISB in itself introduces in the Indian education system as a whole. I have loved how we have already had courses like critical thinking, which have led us to question our base assumptions, and other courses which not only tell us what happens, how it happens, but also the whys behind something. And that I think is very important for any person who wants to get into any profession to learn and understand. And coming back, like it's been 1 year since the journey started, and obviously it's been a great experience throughout the journey, questioning assumptions, understanding people, and getting to know the diversity in and out.
Okay. Aditi, would you like to share how has your perspective evolved since you have joined ISP?
So I actually ISB has always been my dream school. So I think it was more about studying at ISB than doing an MBA for me, in all honesty. Just for the fact that I wanted to learn how to run a business because I want to eventually do business. So I just thought that in any way possible, ISB is the place which can teach me the most on how to effectively run a business and prepare me to be an entrepreneur down the line. How has my perspective evolved is to understand just how much of the learning inside the classroom. I knew that your peers, your alums are a very, very big part of your outside the classroom learning, but I didn't expect just how much we'd be interacting with our professors as well outside the classroom. Uh, Traditionally, we tend to see professors as more theoretical or academic, as academicians, right? But ISB profs go beyond that. They are also industry leaders, they're also researchers of their fields, and they also know how their theory connects to the real world. So I think my shift in perspective was just how much we can learn from professors outside the classroom as well.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, Aditi. I would just request all the panelists here, whenever one of you are talking, if you can, others can please keep their mic on mute because I believe the voice is echoing in between. Thank you so much. Soumya, the next question is for you. I would now understand how does the classroom discussion looks to you, when students from different function, different educational experiences, when they come and when they sit in the classroom, how does that happens? If you would like to, share a few examples along the same side.
So at the beginning, it was all a little bit intimidating to me because my background, in all honesty, has nothing much to do with the curriculum of an MBA. It of course adds to the perspective that I bring to the class, but in terms of like absolute knowledge, there's not much that I can take from an English honors and then put it in an MBA course. So at the beginning, it was all very intimidating to me. I saw people from like all kinds of backgrounds. So people are here from economics, finance, engineers, so like courses like data science or frontier technology. So everybody had like something that they were aware of. For me, everything was entirely new. So it was something that I really had to like adjust myself to make myself feel comfortable enough to add to the discussion that is going on. But I think the professors here, along with all my peers, are so accepting of whatever background you're from that I never felt like, oh, I'm somebody who probably has like does not have like knowledge of any of the subjects that are being taught here. I remember like going to professors office hours at the beginning, so as to like understand whatever doubts I have, so as to like, make myself comfortable in this environment. And also I think a lot of discussions with my friends, with my peers, like if there's something that I'm not understanding, I can easily go to them and ask them, and everybody will be just as open to explain it to you. Like it's like your friends sitting there and just teaching you something that you don't understand. So I think it has been like core, like people like these that I've found. I think it's the entirety of the cohort, be it our study groups, be it the classes, the sections. Everybody has just been very open and like open in sharing their knowledge and their perspectives. As for class discussions and participation, I think especially for courses like frontier technologies, where I would sit and be like, I have like zero knowledge about how technology works, what an engineering degree is, but still I think the courses have been taught to us in such a way that everybody sitting there has had some food for thought and has been able to contribute something. So I think those are like a few things that have really shaped how class discussions uh, happen in ISB for me.
If I'm correct, frontier technologies has been taught by Professor Vishal.
Yes, the first part of it was taught by Professor Vandit. The second part of it was taught by Professor Vishal.
Okay, okay, that's good. Um, I would now request Sagar if you just want to contribute on the same thing what Soumya just mentioned. How has been the case discussions or the group projects when an engineer is coming in, a lawyer is coming up during the same discussion? How does that
No, no, I definitely
happen?
resonate with what Soumya just said because uh, coming from a tech background myself, I was also someone who was deeply interested, into geopol or philosophy and things like that. Coming into the classroom, it was like a surprise for me to have people who were not from a tech background to share certain perspectives or to give in certain thoughts in a frontier technology class. So that itself was the fun of it. And I remember I also attended an info session at Delhi, which was taken by Professor Vishal at the time when I was an aspirant. I was applying to ISB, and Professor Vishal had actually told me that you'll have people from policy, tech, finance, and everyone would actually, the perspectives that you'll get from them is more than you take from any class or any professor, and that actually is the case. And the fun part of it is mostly engaging and debating with all your peers in class over these things, and that is how learning and inculcating all this not only comes to you, but also you get comfortable sharing your insights as an engineer, as a person from finance. We even have a doctor in our batch from different perspectives. That is how you also get the encouragement to speak up. So yeah, it's been a very like a fulfilling experience, I'd say, in the very first year.
I just want to add
Okay, and
something.
are there any?
I just would
Sorry,
like
yes,
to
yes,
add
please.
something. I
Yeah.
think uh, before at least ISB, I used to think that every topic has a set of people who would have an opinion about it. For example, technology, right? I would think myself to be indifferent towards it. I would think, it's not something that concerns me. But because I come from an economics background, an economics course or a finance course is something I get to hold an opinion about. But after coming here, especially sitting in classes, reading the cases, it makes you realize that as a young professional in the world today, when you hear others' opinions as well. So nothing, you are not isolate as a finance professional. I'm not isolated from organization behavior. I'm not isolated from operations management, and I'm not isolated from tech as well. So as this is what case discussions and this is what ISB classrooms add to you, because you get to hear diverse opinions which you would think don't affect you. But when you sit there in the classroom, you can see yourself relating to the course material, that this is something that I am also a part of. It's a system that we live in, right? If like we read about in our operations class how queues are managed, right? Every single day we stand in a queue or other, whether it's at a McDonald's or at a billing counter or anywhere else. So we might think that it's okay for us to be separate or not in touch with these systems, but we are all a part of a larger system where all these forces interact. So I think that way also diverse perspectives help you to understand the world around you a lot better.
Viewpoints have led to a different kind of an outcome, learning outcome, I would say.
Every single class, everywhere, because you
Could you
will
could you share an example as well along?
very, very simple things like in some strategy courses. So, strategy is never unilateral, right? And there is no correct answer. We can
Mhm.
look back and see ki, okay, X company, say a Coca-Cola or a Ducati, they did they took this course of action when they had, say, four other options to choose from. Now, the counterfactual doesn't exist. That if they took course of action one versus what would have happened if they had done three. It's a thought experiment. So, in a classroom, that is where most of the differing opinions come from the subjectivity. There is no correct answer. So, when yourself are doing something, you learn to challenge all your assumptions and all your biases.
Manas, would you like to add any example to it? Manas, am I audible to you? Or I think Manas, there's some network error. He has just exited. No problem. We will move to our next question. Um, this is for you. I would say each one of you can, add onto the same question. Any one valuable lesson that you have learned from your classmate who was from a different background as yours, from yours? Any one of you can begin first. Maybe Soumya, you can start, and then everybody else can follow you.
Sure. I think uh, for me, whenever a problem presented itself, I would first think of it from a qualitative perspective. Like I would analyze key, oh, like should we do this, should we not do that? But I wouldn't think of it in a quantitative way. I think what I've like I have a friend who's from a BCom background, and I think the first thing that I like every time we would discuss a problem, his first instinct would be to look at the numbers. Like, is it viable? Like with the numbers, what is the quantitative reality of this thing? Wherein I would always go first and think about what is the qualitative reality of this. So I think that has been uh, one of the best things that I've like one of the most important things that I've learned here, that it's not just that you think about something from a theoretical perspective, something from a qualitative perspective, but numbers are like equally important, which of course in an MBA it is, but still like from my where I come from, it was like our thought process was very different. Like we would always think about, what would its
Hmm.
impact be, should it be done, should it not be done, is it the morally right thing to do? But numbers were not something that we would think about in the first go. So I think that's one thing that I've learned from like a lot of people here, especially my friends who are from like a BCom background or from a finance background. So yeah, I think that would be
Okay,
something.
Manas, as you're back, I would just repeat the question for you as well, and you may answer it first. Any valuable lesson that you have learned from a classmate whose background was different from yours?
Yeah, sure. Sorry for the inconvenience. There was a network connection at my end.
No, no, that's fine.
Yeah,
That's fine.
so I think one of the things that I learned, I think it was in the frontier tech class only. And we were basically asked a very common question, which many of us thought would be that the answer to it would be quite obvious. So it was something related to Dropbox or something. And professor had asked us that what would be a good growth strategy for it. Like, should we go B2C or B2B to scale? And many of us, including me, we just had this thought that that B2B would be an obvious choice. So we just stuck to it. Uh, and many of us, we basically anchored our thoughts to that one idea. But a small minority of us, we were basically, they were of the thought. That let's think about it from an external point of view and let's think out of the box. So I think then the eventual answer did turn out to be something that was truly unique, which was like a B2C strategy. So I think the one thing that I learned was not to just stick to our first point of view. So whatever first comes to our mind, we generally tend to stick to it and then we try to justify that, okay, this will be the right answer. But to have an open mind and to be flexible enough to listen to each other's views and basically respect them and no, and also inculcate them in our own lives. I think that is something which truly helped me also, I would say.
Thank you, Manas. Sagar, if you will go next now.
Sure. So, a similar thing, I think it's very important to keep an open mind when you're evaluating the problem. So, normally we humans have tendency that we'll keep an open mind when someone proposes a solution to us. But I think to evaluate the problem, as to what Manas was saying, without any biases is something which is very important. In courses, if you say frontier tech, or even in the OB courses like behavioral foundations of work and management, we got to understand how a problem which might seem as simple to us might be very complex in real, versus a problem which might seem very complex in general, which will be very simple to solve. So both sides of it can be understood when you see things without biases. And coming from an engineering background, engineers normally have a knack to see a problem and their first instinct is, okay, this is the solution, or the problem is now solved in this certain way. I think personally also it took me a lot of work to understand that how to not do that, how to first evaluate the problem in all its depth, and second, the breadth of exposure that you get via different things that automatically it comes to you. For instance, me and us, we are in the same study group. So there are multiple instances where we diverge on certain topics. We do not understand what is the right way to do about things because we both are from different backgrounds, and the other two people they are also from completely different backgrounds. Everyone has their own different viewpoint, everyone has their own biases, but I think the important point is, which again something which we've been taught over the years, how you converge, how you converge these different ideas into one central point and then go ahead with that. So again, these are like some of the experiences which obviously you do not develop consciously but subconsciously, but they help you go along like a long way.
Aditi, for you, I'll just tweak this question a little bit, I would ask like, have there been any challenges of working in diverse teams? Like, for example, as I know that we have study groups at ISB. This is for PGP as well as for YLY. Those students are from the different backgrounds. So, how do you think this is this challenging, or is this experience more rewarding? How does it look for you?
It's not an either or between challenging and rewarding, it's both. So I think it is rewarding because it is challenging. I feel like, everyone is very opinionated, as they should be, right? You cannot thrive without being opinionated
Correct.
if you're indifferent towards everything. Uh, but what ISB pushes you to do is that all your opinions, you should know how to reason them well. You should know how to argue them well. So, one thing that I learned from the dean himself in his class when he taught us critical thinking was, don't challenge the outcome, challenge the assumption. So I think that is something I carry with me whenever I am having any kind of debate with anyone. That might be a study group member, that might be a peer in class,
Mhm.
that you are saying X, I am saying Y, that's fine. But why are you saying X and why am I saying
So there
Y?
should be a rationale
So
behind
I
your
think
decision.
yes, I mean, if you are not convinced, like for example, that also pushes me. That also has the self side advantage for me, right? That if I think an ABC course of outcome is good, I can only convince someone else when I'm fully
Correct.
convinced. So when I am every day here taught about what makes a good argument, how to have strong logical reasoning, right? How to reason well, how to argue well. When I am fully convinced, I will most probably go after facts, after harsh truths rather than letting my emotions get in the way.
Mhm.
So I feel like the more the people practice it here, there will be diverging opinions, but people will be able to arrive at either a healthy disagreement or at a middle ground, because everyone, you are not questioning the outcome, you're questioning the assumption itself. So if the assumptions are rooted in something common, you will sometimes realize you're saying the same thing,
Mhm.
just in different
Correct.
words. That often happens with, say, my engineering counterparts versus me, that we'd be saying the exact same thing, just in different words. They'd be talking about the implementation side of it versus I'll be talking about the idea side of it. So I think, how do you break down and how do you, till what level do you break down a disagreement and reach its core, and then discuss on the core idea behind it? I think in that way it's more both challenging and rewarding.
Okay. Okay. An extension to the same question, Sagar. What do you think? What does this makes you a better leader or a collaborator?
I think both to a certain extent. So, for example, like if I'll just give you an example of my personal journey, uh, over the last year also, you will get a lot of chances or occasions where you get to collaborate with different kinds of people. Be it your study group, you have different study groups in different subjects, and obviously you will understand not only, I would say, theoretically how you collaborate with people, but also how you handle egos. So that also can be extended to this year. So, for example, we have a graduate student body, and normally there are core selections and all for that. So any core selection for that also, you need to understand how you can work in tandem with certain people and how you can handle certain egos. And this is not only as a result of the experiences that I've been talking about, but also a result of the coursework that you do. Again, when you're into some coursework, you wouldn't directly recognize the importance of what that material is. And I'm not obviously saying that 100% of the material might be relevant to you, but there are certain one two nuances or one two takeaways which you definitely see yourself applying in multiple different cases. So, for example, we have an internship also, which every one of us does. Everyone has varied experiences across their internships. Right now, when we are back to class, everyone says different things about their internships, and some of them have totally different from others. And those experiences also, in a way, tell you how different things are, and then you can take these things and you can actually question even your professors on those, and they are also willing to accommodate. So one instance was simply that we
Okay, okay, fine. So the question to you, Soumya, first would be that how does the diversity enrich experiences outside the classroom, through the clubs, events, competitions, or the social interactions? How does this work completely?
So I think we have five professional clubs and we have multiple social clubs as well. I think these clubs add a lot of, extra knowledge to somebody. So let's say I'm somebody who's interested in marketing, but there's also a finance club which is doing sessions and it is open for me to whenever I can go and sit in those sessions whenever I want to. There's a
Hmm.
consulting club helping people case prep, getting them industry sessions. So there are multiple things that are happening outside the class which are adding to your knowledge, despite of what background you come from, what you want to go ahead and do. You have options for everything. You can go and sit wherever you want. You can do whatever you want. You can enrich your knowledge by joining any of the events that any of these clubs are doing. For I think in terms of social life, if you want, we have the SLC, also the student life committee in the GSB, which is also doing events which could be we had the carnival. So that is also a space for you where you can come up and show whatever talents you want to. You can have your own stalls, you can paint, you can sing. There's a space for you to explore and do whatever you want to wherever you come from. There is no restriction and everybody is very, again, like I said before, accepting and sharing in their from their ends. So it's a very wholesome batch that we have. We are also the founding batch, the small batch of 130 people. Everybody knows everyone. There's no hesitation. Everybody supports everybody. So I think that's also a really, really nice thing about our batch.
Okay, so now Sagar, I'll again come back to you, as you are part of GSB as well. So how about if you can, explain the how does GSB function, and if you can, also share the names of the few clubs and events that you have organized via the same platform.
Sure. So GSB in itself is a 7-8 member body which basically is there to help the cohort, to represent the cohort in front of the administration for any of the issues. So now most of the positions in GSB are some of the positions which work with the office. So for instance, the academic team of which Soumya is in part or as a part, that works with the ASA, that is the Academic and Student Affairs.
Hmm.
For me, since I'm the director of alumni affairs, I work with the Office of Alumni Engagement and the Office of Advancement. Similarly, the career advancement works with the career advancement team of ISB. So we basically have to act as a bridge between an office and the students. One is that what the ambit of the job is, and the second ambit of the job is in general organizing initiatives which are in general for the students. Now those can be initiatives which might be on more of the professional end, for example any speaker or any panel discussion if we have, which we think might be of importance to people, or that might be on the social front, that is for in general enjoyment of the cohort in general. So this is what the GSB structure comprises of. In addition to the GSB, we have some clubs. I think the number of clubs is 14 or 15, which again are divided into two types. One is professional clubs, one is social clubs. Professional clubs again include all the tech club, entrepreneurship club, finance club, women in business club, all these clubs. While social clubs are other clubs which do not basically directly impact your career, but again for something you do in your leisure. For example, we have the comedy club, music and dance club. In general, since we are a batch of 130 itself, so there is a significant number of people around 2025 who are already involved in these clubs as in the lead positions. But yes, so now that given we are the founding batch, the GSB in particular as well as the clubs, the one of the ambit of work that is pretty unsaid is forming a culture, because this program is relatively new and there's a lot of flexibility from the administration also. So we have been fortunate enough that we are actually getting to form the culture that the legacy would be carried around, because ISB already has a very good reputation, the program already has a good reputation, but
Hmm.
in general how things would function in status quo is what all these clubs in GSB have to also work upon.
Correct, correct. Okay, I'll come to Manas now. Manas, do you think that learning alongside a diverse cohort has influenced your career aspirations?
Yeah, sure. I would say that learning alongside these peers, has been a real great opportunity for me. As I mentioned, it did help me think out of the box, and it did help me to even to a larger extent, with players who are no doubt talented, but uh, who also respect each other and who give space to each other. And this, I think, has really helped in shaping my own learning journey. So, as everyone mentioned, there are different kinds of subjects. Like it's not just limited to one domain, and so it is very crucial to have people around you who have those different diverse perspectives, so that you can not only clarify your own doubts, but you can also get some new perspectives around that. And I think that has really helped me, especially in my internships too. So there were courses in relation to organizational behavior, and that really helped me in in terms of working with a team, in terms of directing, uh, in terms of getting to know the ins and outs of an organization. And I think a big role in this has to be interaction with the peers and with the professional and social groups. Yeah.
Okay, Aditi, would you like to add something to this?
I think most of it is covered. One more thing I want to add is the SIGs. I don't know if anyone talked about it. So there is a lot of time for you to, and I won't say time, you won't have that much time, but there's a lot of space for everyone to explore their interest, even outside of clubs. And that reflects in the form of special interest groups. Like me, for example, so the professional clubs that we have, finance, consulting, marketing, uh, my interests somewhere lied at the intersection of those. So when I got a chance to make a special interest group, me and my friends, we started a retail and e-commerce SIG because I was interested in this domain, this industry. I won't call it an industry, but the subsection of retail and commerce, right, which is e-commerce and quick commerce. This is where I would like to say explore career opportunities. Just the market is evolving in a very interesting fashion. So there was enough avenue, there was enough resources from the school side for me to explore that interest. So yeah, I just wanted to add that.
Okay, this question is for each one of you. I'll begin with Sagar. Uh, the new skills that you have developed while as a result of engaging with this highly diverse cohort.
So new skills that I have developed. Yeah.
Yes.
So one learn in the courses. So coming from a tech background, although I worked in a fintech, I was never too familiar with concepts of FSA, which is financial statement analysis, managerial accounting. So in terms of hard skills, obviously from the professors, that is something which you learn, and interaction with the cohort, some of the skills that you get to learn are more soft skills. That is how you'll basically how you will react in a certain situation versus how you usually did. So that is something which you normally get with interactions with a lot of
Mhm.
people. For example, even in my study group, there were times that we had actually an experiential learning program by the name of Ideas, where we had to go across this city in Hyderabad and actually go and do customer interviews to people. So me, Manas, and a couple of us, when we went, we actually realized how people weren't answering to us in the way that we wanted when we asked questions in a certain manner. And that is how we tried and flipped around a bit. We tried and played around. We asked a bit more probing questions. So these are some of the things which you progressively learn over time. And obviously the progression sometimes is negative also, but obviously it's a journey, and at the end of the day, there's a lot that comes into you. You might not apply it consciously, but subconsciously it all stays with you.
Okay. Manas, how about you?
Individuality of everyone. They take the concerns and needs of everyone into account before coming up with events. So I think again, being that empathetic is something that has helped me as a soft skill. And yeah, more or less, Sagar covered everything, I would say.
Okay. How about you, Soumya?
So I would like to say a very specific thing for this. So in terms of learning from the cohort, of course the hard skills are there, like everybody mentioned. For me, in fact, the hard skills are way too much. Like there are so many things in terms of subjects and course material that I've learned. But so we have lawyers also in our cohort, and if I have to make an argument, if something is happening, I just like probably think of it from a very emotional point of view. I'll be like, I'll probably like say my first thoughts out loud and everything. But when I see her talking in class, and I see how she frames her argument, I really truly realize that okay, it's important to give like a certain weightage to every aspect of a thing. You're thinking about what is the actual consequence of this. Is this actually right or not? Am I just being irrational in saying something? So it's like whenever she speaks, I really think about it. I'm like, okay, this is the kind of like like the argument making skill that I want to have. So I think yeah, that's one of the most specific things that I'm learning here, like how to like form my arguments without being too irrational about it.
Okay, Aditi?
I think for me, it has been how to stay ahead of the AI development curve and how to leverage AI rather than seeing it as a threat of any kind. I think there was a similar question in the chat as well. I was just going through it. And that how will consulting as a career change you to AI, right? That goes for any career point, so to say. It's like we here learn about how to make AI an efficient tool to boost our efficiency, to reduce our turnaround time on, adding to our knowledge set. So I think, especially in today's day and age, that's a very, very important skill to have. That from a different lens, from an ops lens, from a tech lens, from a finance lens, how do you view technology as a supplement rather than an alternative to the work that we're doing?
Okay. This question is for you and Sagar. Both of you should be taking this. Uh, what would you like to say to someone who is coming from a non-traditional background and who's looking forward to fit into that MBA profile? Aditi, you may please continue first.
Don't need to fit into a profile. I feel like everyone's MBA's journeys, especially here at ISB, I'm not sure about other schools, they are tailored to you. Uh,
Correct.
an MBA is supposed to fit your career goals and your
Mhm.
career trajectory rather than you fitting into an MBA bucket. I think this is something I had spoken extensively about in my admissions interviews as well. That I want to do an MBA not because I am a good candidate for the school, but because the school is a good step for me. So I think someone from a non-traditional background, uh, the fact that there is a traditional MBA profile in itself is a little bit sad, in my opinion. But I think
One more question. If
Aditi, please let's give chance to others as well because we can see a lot of hands raised. In case if there are no questions, then I'll come back to you. Amulya, you may please unmute yourself.
Thank you so much for the session and thank you for giving me the opportunity. So, I'm Amulya. I graduated in 2024 with an integrated master's in electronics and communication engineering. So, after that, I had a very rough patch in my life due to which I could not work. But ever since my childhood, I was always interested in management. So, but in during this period I was upskilling and self-learning. So but I wanted to know if this gap is going to be a setback and how to overcome it, how to strengthen my profile.
I think,
That's
Baljit,
very
you are the best
honestly.
person who can
I
answer this.
actually I also have a
Uh,
gap year, so
okay,
if it's okay, I can also answer this.
okay, you
So
may.
no, not at all. It will not be a problem in like you yourself said that you're upskilled yourself during this phase, right? For me also, it was a very rough patch. I could not work. For me, I did not even have a lot of chances to upskill myself. But still, it's as long as you have a real answer as to why you took that gap. A lot of times, people will also try to come up with all sorts of fake reasons to say that okay, this is why I had this gap and everything. As long as you are honest in your answer, they can see through you. Like if I was asked about my gap years in a lot of interviews, but I gave them the honest answer as to why I took that gap year, what happened, what didn't happen, and what I did to upskill myself or to ensure that okay, whatever I want to do next this time adds some value to my plan. So as long as you do that, you will be all fine. I think for my ISB interview, it did not even come up. I don't think my gap years came up in my ISB interview. Even for my internship interviews at ISB, it didn't come up. So it's not necessary that every time people will notice the gap on your resume. But as long as you have an honest answer to that, it does not do anything to ruin your chances of getting in somewhere. That's not how it happens. And mostly in the criterias for B schools, the gap years don't have any weightage. So it's not like finishing the graduation or just a year or two before or having a certain work ex or something. Like it does not matter. Like it's not at all something that you need to be stressed about, just as long as you have an honest story and you've done something to upskill yourself in that phase.
Absolutely rightly put up, Soumya. See, gap years does not hinder your profile at all. Okay, until and unless the gap shows us 3 to 4 years, then the questions start arising. It's just a year. That's okay. You may always have a answer to it, and that's okay with us. Gap to sense as well. So justify the honest answers, and 1 year maybe you're just came up or you are still trying to figure it out. What do you want? How you want us? There's no negative points given for the gap. Thank you for taking up the question. Dipana mentioned that. If you can please unmute yourself. Yes, Dipana, we can hear you.
Hey, I'm Aditya Bhatta. I'm sorry, it's a different account. And so I'm looking forward to coming to trying to get into ISB next year. But my main concern is I'm from a family business background, and I've had a 91 percentage in my 10th, but in my 12th, I had some family health issues, so I couldn't score that good at all, honestly. It's around 60 percentage something. But I'm finance person, so I've been doing stock market since last 3 years. I've given CFA level 1, cleared it, and I'm also appearing for FRM this year. So do you think that what else courses or what else type of clearance that I need for me to, you know, make my chances improved to get into ISP? I think,
First of all,
yeah,
sorry, I'll just
sure.
take up this question and then you may add it to it, Sagar. See, first of all, there is not just one aspect of your profile that we will be evaluating at ISP. Okay, when we evaluate academics, we look at your 12th and your undergrad scores, the degree that you have pursued, institute from where you have pursued, your test scores, and in case if you feel that your 12th scores are lesser, maybe you might have a little higher score than your undergrads, or maybe you can complement that with a higher GMAT, GRE, or a CAT score. It's more about how you bring around the balance in your overall profile. That is what matters most to us. There can't be, you may say that, your 12th scores less, but again, your GMAT and GRE is also less. That shows that somewhere it gives us a hint that, academically you might not be that good. So you have to ensure that there is some sort of balance. There should not be very highs and lows in your overall profile. To up to the courses, if I have to say, I believe
Nothing particular. Like, I think the
can
profile that
to add.
he was talking about, it's already a great profile, CFA, RML1. Just like focus on whatever, except for that, you can just chill a bit. So, like being honest and not being out of stress, because that stress eventually comes to you on the interview day as well. So go with a calm, open mind and everything.
I just want to
Thank you.
say
Thank you, Sagar.
for
Uh,
him and for anyone else who's in a similar position, uh, if you have had any major setbacks related to health, related to family, anything else, right? You learn something from every setback you face in life. I think, especially from your essay standpoint, you will not be penalized for any gap year for, taking care of your family or your health, anything like that. Just speak about it. Just speak about, not even from a professional standpoint, like a very corny LinkedIn post, but just about what your learnings from that experience have been, how you overcame those, what strengths, what learnings you gained from that whole episode of your life, and what takeaways are you taking into the next chapter. So I think setbacks are a part of life. Small or big, everyone faces them sooner or later. So don't think that that will deter you from getting into the school at all.
Thank you, Aditi. Shambhu Mukherjee, if you can please unmute yourself.
Yep, hi everybody. Hopefully I'm audible. Yep, thank you for that.
Yes, you are.
Sagar, my question is for you. So for context, I come from a liberal arts background. I'm a computer science and psychology double major. Um, my deal is I want to get into PM, specifically TPM roles. I mean, I know well you don't get TPM roles very easily as a fresh grad, but do you see different backgrounds in the PM sphere wherever you have, check things out, attended mixers or events, or is it at least in India a very engineer dominated field?
See, so within India, I would say there are multiple different type of firms which have multiple variations within themselves. Some are what you're saying more idea centric and generic, while some are more engineer dominated. But when you say you want to get into TPM vis-a-vis a PM, you're automatically going towards the side which is more engineer dominated, because TPM you'll get into firms which are more B2B, like Atlassian, you have Salesforce, and I'll not only talk about the Googles and Microsofts of the world, I'll talk around the tier 1.5 level. PM on the other hand also involves a certain contextual understanding about tech, but they can also be B2C, which include your Swiggies and Zomatos of the world, which are some of which are B2C. So it varies firm by firm, and I won't say there's any sector in India which probably like dominates over the other. But if you ask me, obviously there has been a rise of most of the B2C PM or tech firm which we did not have back in the day. Back in the day, it was mostly big, large enterprise which mostly dominated the entire space. And with AI coming up, obviously you have a level playing field for both the things. And coming to careers into product, when you come to ISB, obviously till now in the internships, we had a limited number of product firms which are coming. If I talk about the final might be specific to product which come into the final placements. But again, that is something for us also to witness, because we have been 1 year into this batch. So things like, final placements, foreign exchange, or even a part of electives are something which we also sitting here haven't experienced properly. So once we also experience that in our second year, those are some things which we might also be able to give you a better answer.
Next question. We will take two more questions, and meanwhile, I'm seeing a lot of people with the name test. If you can please rename yourself, there would be a arrow button on your right hand side of the screen. If you can please rename yourself, that would be easier for us to identify you. Meanwhile, Manik Chen, you can please unmute yourself.
Hello. Hi. I'm audible.
Yes, Manik,
Hi.
please go ahead.
Thank you everyone for giving the opportunity. Manik, and I have basically roughly 1 year work in investor relations and sell-side equity research, and I've done my CFA. I just wanted to understand from your perspective. So I've been talking with a lot of students from different MBA batches, that's NARC or SP, and so they all like saying ki if you're basically targeting for buy side investment roles post masters, if you want to have certain domains which you should ideally not go for ISB because they don't have a rigorous finance focused curriculum. I mean, they do have finance in PGPYL, 2 year MBA program, but ideally you should look for other colleges that have more better maybe for placements thing or more better rigorous focus. So what's your take on that specific curriculum? Because I think 1 year you have completed, 1 year I think you have yet to choose your specialization for the 27 2027 clearing batch, first batch.
Manik, if I just have to add to your question, first of all, PGP WAL is a 20-month program wherein the first year they are studying their core and the flexi core, and the second year is when they have the customized learning journey, which we call when they pick up their electives. So we have enough electives for finance to pick up. I do not know from where did you got those insights that you are mentioning over here currently. Maybe I believe. Manas, you can take up this question because this is related to finance.
Sure. I think I would also agree with you. I think this is a misconception at his end, I would say. Because even at core courses, there were specially structured courses which focus specifically on finance, so like financial accounting, managerial accounting, financial statement analysis, and so on. And there were ample opportunities and projects where we would basically get a flavor of the practical side of finance, I would say. And even from an internship standpoint, I think ISB was successful enough in attracting good quality firms. So as I mentioned, I interned at an investment bank at Jeffries, I would say. And there were also other attractive finance roles, be it in equity research, be it even in PE to some extent. And I would say it's so the finance area in ISB is still developing, but it's developing really fast. And I think it's a great opportunity if anyone wants to pursue finance to pursue it via ISB.
Because I think I've just seen the
To
like
add,
your last placement report. I think more it's more on consultant heavy programs.
Manik, I believe you're checking our PGP reports. You need to check the PGP WILE reports, and PGP WILE only has a summer internship
Yeah.
report as of now. And if you go and check it, you will see that the highest percentage has gone into consulting, followed by finance only. Thank
Okay.
you,
Thank
Manik. Mudit, this is the last question that we'll take up for this session today. Mudit, you may please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello.
Yes, Mudit, we can hear you.
Um, I had this question. So I'm a working professional. So I've been working for last 6 months in this corporate. I just wanted to know my basically the spike which the ISB looks for. So that spike I have in bits and pieces throughout my academic, could be 10th, 12th, and my college. And now that I am a working professional, I'm targeting to get into the PGP YL cohort next year. So I wanted to ask, is there any maybe a certification, a professional course that I can do while working and while preparing for my GMAT that could help me getting into this for next year cohort.
Anyone who
Uh,
would like to answer?
a little bit context. I'm a general engineer male, and my profile is in data and product analytics.
I want to say here that I don't think 10th and 12th scores necessarily are a spike unless you were a rank holder of any kind.
Right.
Same goes for college scores. Um, you can again evaluate where you want to end up, right? What kind of I don't you're an engineer, right? So if you're targeting, say, a product role, the spike you're looking for would be different. Anyhow, sector agnostic way में says and your GMAT scores can always be a spike. So I think courses and certification competitions maybe. So locations compete and try to secure some high ranks. And apart from that, I think since it's a more specific to your profile question, you can maybe reach out to any of us personally, and we'd be happy to take a deeper dive into your profile and your goals and help you out.
Thank you, Ritik.
More importantly, to add to what not evaluate your work experience, only evaluate the internships or projects that you have undertaken during your.
Okay. Thank you.
This was thank you so much. And this with this question, we come to the end of the session. I would first like to thank Aditi, Sagar, Manas, and Soumya for taking up time from your study schedule, as well as I believe the OBE is also going on. So thank you so much for taking your time and interacting with the prospective PGP-YL students. It was really insightful for, I believe, for me as well as for the students attendees who were attending the session today, because the answers and the insights that you have shared was very valuable and very inspiring. So thank you so much. And any questions that were unanswered during the session, I would request all of you to please drop your queries on pgpyl@isb. Thank you, everyone, and I wish you all a very good night.
Thank you. Bye. Cheers.
Thank you,
So
Paji.